So the structure of the programming is set up that it will take you through the very first time through the correct steps in the right order in order to be able to successfully set up safe. So let's get started. So you'll notice from the home screen, you'll go to Model Adjust, and like we've done previously, obviously the airplane needs to be turned on, the receiver needs to be turned on, and Forward Programming screen will come up. Turn on Forward Programming, and up top, hit Gyro Settings. The bottom of this screen says First Time Safe Setup. Go ahead and access that. And so it mentions that the flight modes need to be configured. So you may have done this in the previous AS3X. If not, select that. And of course, I had assigned it here. Let's assume that you get to this stage and you notice that it says inhibit. See where it says inhibit over here? If you get to that point, go ahead and select. And in this case, I can automatically flip the switch, and that will select the flight mode for me. If you'll remember, the AS3X was on this switch as well. And by the way, if a channel wasn't assigned to the switch, I can actually go here and I can select the channel that I chose as well. So auxiliary 3, auxiliary 4, and so on. So let me go ahead and program that. So that's where you're going to program in flight modes. I'll hit next. So after you've done that, then go ahead and hit continue. So it's important to remember when we make these next settings that we're going to go in and adjust their per flight mode. So by flipping this switch, you see here I can flip flight mode 3, flight mode 2, and so on. It's important that we remember this when we make these next settings. So we'll go to next. And as it says, we need to already have set up AS3X modes. And next is level model and capture attitude. In this case, it's important that the model be level. You know, we talked earlier about angle demand. So this is going to establish that straight and level flight. So the model needs to be level. And of course, we can go in later in advanced safe settings and you can adjust that somewhat. But for now, you know, the model needs to be level. You know, if it's a tail dragger, it's probably a good idea to lift the tail and, you know, have it setting in the position that it would normally be setting while it's in flight. So have the airplane level in roll and in pitch. Okay, so now that we've established that the model is level and in an attitude that's level with the flight plane, at the top it says level model and capture attitude. And when you do so, it will capture that attitude. Now you'll see pitch here is shown at -1 degree and rolls at 0. So the actual values will show up here on the screen. So then we'll hit next. And here's where we're going to select the various safe modes and also the angle limits. Okay, so safe modes and angle limits. One thing that we mentioned previously with AS3X, and that is that we highly recommend that one of the flight modes be set up so that basically all the gyro functions are turned off. That includes AS3X and also all the safe modes. Now we've already done that with the AS3X modes. We decided that flight mode 1, which is the rear position, was going to be off, and we're going to do the same thing here. So safe mode in flight mode 1 is inhibit, okay? So safe mode, flight mode 2, I'm going to select inhibit. I'm going to select self, level, and angle demand. I'll hit OK. So again, flight mode 1 is inhibit. Flight mode 2 is self, level, angle demand. Flight mode 3 is still inhibit. For flight mode 3, I'm going to go ahead and select envelope. So again, it's your choice. If you prefer envelope, whatever you'd like to do. So I'll hit OK. Then the next thing I do is I'll go to, obviously this is inhibit. So flight mode 1's inhibited. So all those values, while they're pre-programmed in, they won't be active and you won't see anything. So I'm going to go to self level. And right now we have pre-programmed in a right and a left roll angle of 60. a pitch down and a pitch up angle of 50. Now those numbers are already applied and those are the default values. And I would recommend that's probably a pretty good place to start. If you have a very fast airplane, you may want to go with a steeper roll angle, otherwise the turn gets pretty big. But play around with these values. But frankly, I would suggest that you start here. And then there's the same thing for envelope, and you have the same values. So again, the angle limits the right roll, so when the airplane rolls to the right, it'll stop at 60 degrees. In this case, we have a pitch down at 45 or 40 degrees, pitch up at 50 degrees. So that's how the envelope works. Okay, let's go to the next screen, hit apply. And it's storing, receiver's rebooting. So an important distinction when you have safe functions activated, normally when the airplane initializes, you'll see a twitch twitch. Well, AS3X gives you one twitch, twitch twitch. So AS3X and safe, when they're programmed, it gives twice as many, two twitches basically. It's twitch twitch, twitch twitch. So when the airplane actually initializes, you'll see that double twitch when it's in safe mode. And that's the basics of setting up safe.